Rarely, if ever, have relations between the government and the opposition been so bad and for so long. Both sides have leveled accusations of mala fide against each other, and it seems that there's little goodwill and trust between them. So today, as we assess the government through the eyes of the opposition, I should look both at the issues that divide them as well as the performance of the government. And with me are some of the big names of the National Democratic Alliance. From the Bharatiya Janata Party, its former president, Murli Manohar Joshi. From the Biju Janata Dal, its Rajya Sabha leader, Jai Panda. And from the Janata Dal United, former Minister of State for External Affairs, Digvijay Singh. Mr. Panda, it's often said by the NDA that the real power lies with Sonia Gandhi. But then how do you explain the fact that so many measures recommended by her National Advisory Council have either been ignored or diluted by this government?
Let's go by what have actually been accepted. I think the key ones that matter to the leadership of the UPA does not get ignored by the Prime Minister's office. Overall, I would say I have a sense of a year being somewhat lost, because any achievements that you can point to this government are nothing but momentum continued forward.
But just for a moment, pause and consider this. Members of the National Advisory Council, the people closest to Sonia Gandhi, are marching in protest across the country in anguish about the nature of the rural employment guarantee bill that's going to go through Parliament. They are protesting that the government has watered it down to a point at which they're unhappy. That clearly shows that Sonia doesn't rule the roost.
I think what it clearly shows is dissension within a coalition, and this is for the first time that the Congress is trying to run a coalition government, and I think they're still learning the ropes.
Okay. See, Mr. Panda, the UP has also removed a series of governors appointed by the NDA. Given that most of these were BJP men and not from other NDA parties, are you as aggrieved as the BJP is about this?
Well, every party has its own viewpoint, but the fact is that this government has been removing or trying to remove things from, it's indulging in tokenism, like changing the names of projects, like changing the photographs and the the signboards of projects that have been put up by the NDA government.
Changing names of cities is something that you people like to do as well. Ahmedabad was called Karnavati, even though no one ever calls it Karnavati. Let's come back to the question I asked. You are not as aggrieved by the sound of it as the BJP is when these governors were replaced.
Well, if one of our party members were to be removed as a governor, obviously we would be much more seriously affected, and we would take a view on that. But overall, as an NDA, we have a common view that what this government is doing in indulging in removing governors and meddling in government formation is just plain wrong.
Perhaps, Mr. Panda, it's often said by the NDA that perhaps the worst constitutional impropriety was the manner in which the government handled and responded to the controversies in Goa and Jharkhand. No doubt it was a low point, but are you really correct in saying that Indian politics has never touched a worse low point than this?
You know, a lot of people get taken in by this government's propaganda that the tainted minister's issue is nothing new. But you must keep in mind that this is the first time ever in the history of modern India that you have people against whom charge sheets have been filed. They have been found prima facie worth pursuing legally on grounds of rape, on grounds of extortion, on grounds of murder.
The first breakthrough with Pakistan happened in January 2004 when the government which your party was a part of was in power. But then the UP has taken the process much further. The Srinagar-Muzaffarabad buses started. The two heads of government have met and called the peace process irreversible. Once again, don't they deserve credit for taking the process to a higher plane?
I would have no problem giving them credit where credit is due. But this government tries to take credit for a lot of things that was actually done by the NDA government, whether it's highways, and you were talking about foreign policy. Anything that they can point to as having shown progress, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's China, was all solid work done in the years before.
I don't deny that. All the solid work on Pakistan and China and America were done by them. But I'm saying that both in the case of America and Pakistan, this government has taken the process further and to a higher level. Will you give them that credit?
I do give them that
much
credit.
So you differ from Dr. Joshi?
No, I don't.
Well, he wasn't giving any credit.
I wish that they would have been honest about it and acknowledged this in public.
But you're not answering my question. You do give credit for the fact they've taken the process higher and further.
In a very inconsistent manner. Look at what they're doing in Nepal. The flip-flop.
No, but let's stick for a moment to
the point is,
China, Pakistan and America. On those three issues, do you give credit, yes or no?
I give them credit for taking our policies forward, but no credit for not giving us due
But you
acknowledgement.
differ therefore from Dr. Joshi, because Dr. Joshi wasn't giving them any credit at
No,
all.
I think it's a matter of detail.
Mr. Digvijay, yes, where the policies, economic policies of this government do differ. One of them, Mr. Panda, is the emphasis they place on employment and rural infrastructure investment. Given that many people in your home state of Orissa would be the principal beneficiaries of the National Employment Guarantee Act whenever it's passed, I take it you support and applaud that.
The question is, are we talking about words or are we talking about a concrete plan? I do support many actions that this government is contemplating which will have a direct benefit on
Why
my
are you
state.
bending over even when you want to support the government to actually not say you do? You seem to have come under the influence of Dr. Joshi.
No, I am not under anybody's influence. The point I'm making is that there are many platitudes that this government talks about, but it has to move beyond
This is a
verbiage.
bill that is about to go through Parliament. It's only delayed because Mr. Kalyan Singh went on boycott and the committee held it up. Your people would benefit.
Where is the money in the budget?
That's another matter.
No,
But the bill and the intention.
That's the most important
No,
thing.
the money can be found quite easily. It's an allocation. 10,000 crore was given.
No allocation. No
Let me-
allocation.
let me-
There is no allocation.
I'm afraid you're wrong.
No allocation.
No, I'm afraid you're completely wrong on that. The allocation can happen when the government finds that there's no dearth of resources. It's a question of raising them. I'm actually asking about the principle.
What
Do
are you saying?
do you support?
What are you saying? What are you saying? Any scheme has to be allocated in the budget.
Allocated and
Passed by the budget.
Passed by the Parliament. The bill has yet to be passed. That's
This
what I'm
bill
saying.
can only be passed. This can be passed and kept in cold storage. If there is no money allocated for a particular scheme in the budget, this scheme is meaningless.
Karan, I'll answer your question directly. The issue is, I personally think that this government has sacrificed employment opportunities in my state and across the country by giving up this wonderful platform that we gave them of an 8.5% GDP growth rate and actually letting that stagnate. And, just talking...
The 8% was based, I interrupted you earlier, but literally, out of 10, how many marks do you give this government?
The answer book is completely blank.
0 out of 10.
I would say that there is no mark.
Very quickly, out of 10.
the Prime Minister has
In one word.
given himself... Mediocre.
Mediocre, that's 5 out of 10. Very quickly.
For me, 0.
0. 2 zeros and 1 5. Well, it's not a very high score that the NDA gives the UPA, but then perhaps that's what politics is all about. If you have been, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Good night.